Hello, YouTube. Today we are going to show you how the religion, organized religion known as Islam, actually has nothing to do with the Quran and it contradicts the Quran in a very bad way.
Yeah, basically, the way it works is if you were to get into the Quran, you would eventually come across Islam. And the assumption is that the two go hand in hand, but the reality is that Islam contradicts the Quran in many ways. Um, the way Islam works is there is a bunch of books, extraneous literature that they say you have to read this literature to understand the Quran, and that this literature supersedes what was said in the Quran. Whenever you hear something bad about Islam, it's coming from this extraneous literature. Like when you hear Muhammad married an 8-year old, that's from the extraneous literature. They call it hadith, which means stories. And these quote unquote stories about the Prophet Muhammad and his companions make up the basis of what is considered the religion of Islam. The religion of Islam, first of all, contradicts the Quran because the Quran says, other than this, what other stories or what other hadith will you follow? And implies that you should not follow any other story because the Quran is the criteria for which, to base your beliefs on. So the Quran, for example, says when it describes like marrying someone, it uses the term woman. It doesn't use the term child or female. It uses a term that in today's modern language would probably mean someone 18 years or older.
And yeah, well, we go into like a points system where we just, go through the different points in order about how the Quran contradicts, how the Islam contradicts the Quran. And like, let's say, some points that people say that they have a problem with Islam, they want to ban Islam and stuff, because they often say ignorantly that the Quran condones marrying a child, but then it shows the Hadith. And the Hadith, people confuse it when they know nothing about the Quran. They think the Hadith and the Quran are kind of the same thing, but really, it's really not at all the case. The Hadith is basically to what the Talmud is to the Torah, what Book of Paul was to the Bible,
Yeah.
and and so on and so on. It's extraneous literature that came after the revealing of the Quran, and it has nothing. If anything, it's an agenda book that that has an agenda and has its sole purpose is to contradict the Quran and to lead people astray. So in the Hadith, yes, Sahih al-Bukhari said that someone said that someone said that someone said that Muhammad married a child and it's okay. The Quran actually doesn't say that at all. In fact, it says to abide the laws of the countries you're in. It says to, how to marry women and what the rules are. And none of it says to marry underage women at all. So it's a really big problem.
Yeah, a good example from another religion, and I get this from Alan Watts' speech I used to listen to about Buddhism, is that Buddhism has Theravada Buddhism and it has Mahayana Buddhism. And one of them is based on solely the teachings of the Buddha, while the other is based on the Buddha's teachings and the monks that followed him and the people after that. And that's essentially the split you have in Islam. It's also in Judaism. They have the Talmud, they have this something called like the Zohar or something, and then they have the Torah, which is the Bible before the New Testament. And they will get their rulings on how to pray, on how to act, on what to do from the Talmud, and use that over the Bible. And they say this was the records of what was being said at the time. Is basically like hearsay. It's hearsay from the times of Moses, they claim. But what we're saying is that the scriptures are fine without the extraneous literature. So if this was Buddhism, we'd be following whichever one is that only follows the Buddhist scriptures. So When you have Islam, they have these books called hadith, and they're very, very long books. They admit that they're hearsay. They say, well, this was heard by this person who heard it from this person.
There's extravagant telephone
And-
game. Like,
Yeah, and the books are numerous. I mean, one collection is 93 volumes. That's probably the most read one, which is Sahih al-Bukhari. Interestingly enough, Sahih or Sahil is the name or something like that.
Sahih.
But Sahih, right?
Sahih.
Sahir is the word for black magic. And it definitely is a black magic because, you know, when we say black magic, it's like convincing someone they're sick when they're not really sick. And in this case, it's like convincing someone they're right when they're actually doing the exact opposite of what it says in the Quran. So if you were to approach the Quran without the Hadith literature, you would find it to be a great book. People on the right would love this. People on the left would love this. Everyone, it's the book for everyone. It's full of guidance. It's a system that works. I recommend listening to it before bed on an audiobook, specifically Sam Garrett's translation. But the actual fact is, in Islam, when people come up with fatwas or religious rulings or make decisions on their religion, they don't consult the Quran first. They consult the Hadith, which are records of Muhammad, supposedly. But a lot of them have proven to be fabricated. And even beyond that, the Quran outright says, what other Hadith will you follow than this, referring to the Quran itself. And again, the word Hadith means stories. So what you'll have is scholars who, instead of just opening the book and seeing what the book says, they'll go to these extraneous literatures. So without further ado, maybe we'll play a clip, like, a quick clip of a scholar.
I wanted to bring up a specific one about the scholar, and I wanted to look up a video about what they say about prayer and what you need to know about the what the Muslims say is salah and how it contradicts the Quran, just because, a lot of the time, like libtards and things like this, they'll turn the words around to conform their agenda while blatantly ignoring facts, truth, and any information that's right in front of them. Just skewing words for the sake of what they're trying to push, which is idol worship, and it's totally against the Quran. So maybe we'll look up one about that, or just a general scholar talking.
Well, if you want to talk about prayer, they say that prayer makes up the basis of Islam, and it's these 5 daily prayers that they're supposed to do every day. So it works more or less like this. They wake up, they pray at sunrise, they pray again around noon, they pray when the sun sets, they pray again a little bit afterwards, and there's one more prayer somewhere in there. But where is this found in the Quran is simply just not in there.
What they did was they took the word for duty, which is like your duty, your diligence, the things that you do, and it outlines your duties, like upholding, like fasting and doing good deeds, and giving charitable way to people, and repenting and believing in God. These are all your duty, and it's like a vague term. So when they see the word salah, they instantly say, well, because hadith, we say salah means this because the hadith says so, and the hadith says you must do this, this, and this because Prophet Muhammad says so. But the Quran claims to be from God. The salah openly claims to be from a person. So really, taking a person over God and God's word is an idolatry, and it is a transgression.
And it says in the Quran, they'll twist words around from their meaning. Much like today with the word racism. Racism used to mean that you prefer one race over another, or you hate one race more than another. But now it's been twisted, and the definition of racism is the systemic approach to oppressing one race over a group of others. And because there's that word in it now, system, they say, well, only white people can be racist because other people are not doing it systemically, which again is just what they claim, not what I'm saying.
Well, a lot of the time, these people say that they believe solely in what the schooling system tells them. They take things at surface value, and they even make fun of the things like quote unquote conspiracy theories, like flat Earth and stuff like that. They'll write them off as just
Well, my point is just
like,
in our own lifetime, in the last 10 years or so, we've witnessed a change of just one word like that. Imagine how over the course of a couple hundred years, these words can be twisted around. And with that in mind, you have to use discernment when reading any religious scripture, because a lot of times, they twist words like that. They twist it in the Bible too. Like I heard church used to refer to the body of people practicing the religion.
Or your own body, like even could mean.
Well, it would include
my
your
church.
own body if you were part of that religion, but it was like a school of fish, a body of fish, a school of Christians, a body of Christians was the church. And then church became a physical building that people go into.
And in tithing, even with tithing, hold on, sounds good.
Yeah.
Even with tithing in Christian religion, it became a mandatory tax of 10%. That the people of this organized building would have to give. So it became like a 10% tax you'd have to give to the government-owned organized religion, which back then actually tithing was a optional donation of physical goods and things like that people would bring to each other. And if they saw someone suffering and said, I can't afford a goat or something, you get them the goat, that would be a tithing. But over time, they changed the definition of tithing to mean what zakat means in the Quran, which doesn't mean in the Quran. What zakat means to brand Islam, which is a 10% tax. Again, even in Judaism, they have a 10% tax you pay to the government. They all do this, and it used to just mean, zakat really does mean sexual purity, but see how things change over time is that these words are mistranslated by the corrupt scholars to fit their agenda and to lead people astray from the true commandments of God for the sake of a man-made religion, for the sake of this world.
So you're going to do a screen share?
Yeah, I'm going to pick the video first. Which one do you want to do?
We got to start with the king of
Asim?
disinformation, Asim al-Hakim. I'm actually thinking about. Okay, so there's a scholar, Asim al-Hakim. His story is that he was like an English teacher in the Middle East and somehow accepted this job as like an Islamic scholar for a TV station. But I kind of don't buy his story to begin with, because it's a little weird that
advice to people who are sticked, who are needled, yet still take precautions. He always has like a very government.
They can
agenda.
see the screen right now.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful.
Okay,
if
so
there's an ad, you gotta skip it.
Hold on.
Don't click it yet. Don't click one and tell me.
So first of all, this guy charges $100 to talk to him for half an hour. Now his name, Asim al-Hakim, I've been thinking it's a fake name. Like it kind of sounds like Assalamualaikum, but I recently learned Hashem al-Hakim is a name for God.
Elohim.
Hashem Elohim. Well, Hashem al-Hakim is also a name for God in Hebrew. So I'm wondering if he outright has a fake name in order because he's like a god.
Well, just look at the names of what they're thinking about all day. Nothing of this, all this is could be answered in the Quran.
Well, let me finish my point. He's like a god for the Muslims, because the Muslims, instead of turning to God in his word in the Quran, will ask this asshole for advice on just about everything. Like literally, they ask him how to go to the bathroom, how to shower, how to eat, how to do everything. They ask him about how to have sex with their wives. Every single question you could think of, he's got an answer for it. So he's their Hashem Elohim, like he is their God.
And these are all like hadith stories that he's clearing up, putting his, like, people always go to your scholar. In the Quran, it says that the scholars are corrupt and you shouldn't follow them. It actually speaks very badly about these people. And it's funny how people claim the Quran while totally just even going to this person for advice is anti-Quranic, just on the plain level of going to them. So, just pick one that,
Let's go up. I saw one about the menses on a plane.
Yeah, but that's kind of like, you should keep away. I mean, that's kind of Quran. Like, he's probably going to bring up some hadith.
Let's see
Where
what
is
it
it?
says. Is down one more? Or two more? So a woman saw purity after menses while on a plane. While she was on a plane, how should she perform ghusl? So okay, the Quran says that the Quran says to keep away from your wife on her menses and not to have sex with her. And then it says that you should purify yourself afterwards, which means take a bath or take a shower.
Wash your hands.
Of course,
Yeah.
in Islam, they have a word that's not found in the Quran, which is ghusl,
And wudu,
and
right?
it refers to a specific ritual washing, which they have prescribed in addition to what God said in the Quran. So,
a woman who's traveling for 13, 14 hours on a plane happened to end her menses while flying, and she saw her purity. Of course, she cannot perform ghusl on an airplane. So what to do? Allah mentioned this twice in the Quran. And Allah tells us to perform dry ablution, known as tayammum.
it's not true.
So if a woman sees her purity and she wants to pray, she should strike the
Wait.
seats or the
Let him
the
finish.
floor,
Wait,
It's
wait,
a
wait,
1 minute
but
sentence.
before-
He obviously contradicts.
but
But like,
there's-
let him
and
talk though.
wipe her face and wipe her.
So it says in the Quran, if you can't find clean water, go wash with clean earth. But they interpret the clean earth as you just go like this and pretend that you're.
Well, not just that.
You just said
First
that.
of all, he twisted around a whole bunch of stuff. Like the Quran says that if you need to clean yourself and you can't find clean water, you can use clean soil.
Why can't you find clean
clean
water on a plane? You go in the bathroom, you go on a
Yes,
plane,
yes.
and wash your hands.
And then the thing about the menstruation, I believe it actually specifically says to wash. Like there's certain conditions where like I mean, yeah, clean soil would work.
Oh,
but-
it says like if you laying with women, and if you're on to go into the duty, and if you laying with women, defecated,
yeah.
or it says any if you have any
To wash
impurity,
or
so it
use
is
clean soil.
It is like an impurity.
So okay, so clean soil, but like
there's more water on an airplane than there is dirt.
yeah, it's not like
Like-
yeah, and then like okay, so let's see what
her
it says.
hands. This is known as tayammum, which is a substitute for those who cannot use water to perform ghusl and to uplift their major ritual impurity, and those who cannot perform wudu. But she can perform wudu. So once she does this to uplift her major ritual impurity,
Oh, and they're doing a separation between wudu and ghusl. Wudu is just washing your hands and face and feet. Ghusl is washing your whole body.
Yeah.
So they're saying
So
in the
he's-
Quran it doesn't say that. It just says wash your hands to the arms, your face.
Well, that's no.
feet.
You're mixing something because he mixed it.
Wait,
it says-
what?
It says that if you're going to approach the duty, like go around spreading the word of the Quran, and you're not
But isn't the
clean,
duty
and you're not
repenting?
clean to wash
Okay,
your hands.
I'm not
face, and
twisting
feet.
around, but I believe the duty is any time.
But it says if you're period to whatever to wash, and if you can't find water, use clean soil.
Mhm.
It doesn't say that if you had your period, just wash your hands, feet, and face, which is what he's saying.
Well, he's saying there's a difference between ghusl and wudu is when you wash your whole body, and ghusl is when you just wash your hands.
Yeah, he's saying you could have your period, wash your hands, feet, and face, and you're fine.
If you're on an airplane.
Which makes absolutely no sense.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do if you're on an airplane anyway? You shouldn't. God's most
you just
forgiving.
take a shower when you
Yeah,
get home.
God's most forgiving. He's like, you're on an airplane, your period stopped. To hell.
You don't know if
like,
it's gonna start back up when you're at
my
off the
period
airplane
stops.
anyway.
If you're the pressure of the airplane could stop
Yeah.
the period.
Yeah.
God is wait. God is most merciful and forgiving. This is where the scholars really get you, is it makes you neurotic about every little thing. Will God forgive me if I walked in with my right foot to the
Yeah.
bathroom accidentally? What do I do to make up for the fact that I walked with my right foot? God isn't sitting there nitpicking every little tiny little movement you make.
Yeah.
It's your heart intention, your mind, and your being. And that's where a lot of times Islam looks so bad to the most people, because they say your God's not our God. God is Our God, the Christian God,
Yeah.
the Jewish God, whatever, people's perception of God, doesn't look at every little way. Look, I opened this with my hands like this, my left hand.
Well, the answer,
God will
the
forgive
answer's
me.
obvious. You're on a plane. Your period's over. You wait till you get to your hotel and take a shower.
Well, if
just
you're
like
them, you
anyone else.
you have a neurotic episode and you
Yeah,
freak
and
the
that's
fuck out.
that's how Islam works with the neurosis. But not only that, that's how all these social structures work. Like SJW has their own neurosis, which is their gender pronouns and all that. And if they didn't have that neurosis, they wouldn't be so concerned with.
Well, it's
with
a
all
tactic
this
for
stuff.
cults. Let's put it to a
Yeah,
different
it's a
one.
cult tactic. That's what I'm saying.
Let's go
Let's
different
watch it
one.
differently.
It's a cult tactic of mind control. It gets you.
Yeah.
It gets you worrying about things that don't even exist. So you don't even worry about things that do exist.
Yeah.
You're worrying about everything else already. Can I pick one?
Yeah, pick one.
This one?
Okay.
No. I don't know.
That might get this taken down for hate speech somehow.
Wait, I want to pick one. Do we need to focus while making thicker to get a reward? What is that? Angels get angry if we keep the food waiting and don't eat ASAP. Is this authentic? Are we sinful for wasting time?
Just pick anyone.
Pronouncing of Salihan.
Can we keep a hamster as a pet in Islam?
Okay. There's like every question you've ever had in your life as a Muslim.
And
he's
look,
answered.
$100 for a half an hour to talk to this guy.
No.
I want to pay him
That's
and,
his
and,
price,
and
you
ask
know?
and film it and ask him some real questions.
They don't ask a message for this message, but he asks for a price. Even in
Yeah,
the
the
Quran,
Quran it
says
says do not
scholars ask. No, this is the scholars want for profit gain, for
And
profitable
it says-
gain.
In the Quran it says,
Don't ask for
say
this
to them, I
message.
ask of you nothing for this message.
Right, but it also says in the Quran that scholars use for monetary gain their
Yeah.
power.
You know what's another thing we forgot is the standard edits of the Quran. Every time it says say to them, it says O Muhammad. And I don't even think Sam Garrett's caught that one because he's been reading the Quran from.
No, I thought he talked about the O Muhammads that were added in
Did
just
he-
to
did he
just
talk
to
about
make.
that?
I don't know, but I've thought about it a lot.
No, I don't even think he knows about that because that's in the one that was translated that's on YouTube. That's not in the actual book.
No, I've had it. I've had it in one of the
new
translations.
ones, in the new ones, but in the version he started reading,
Yusuf
it
Ali.
didn't have it.
He has
In the-
Yusuf Ali.
yeah, I don't think it was in the.
I think it
Yusuf Ali,
was.
the
O Muhammad.
But anyways, they added say to them after it tells you to say something to these people.
It's what? Oh, sorry.
They added O Muhammad, so you think that Muhammad's job was to say this and not your
I don't
job.
know, I don't know. Yeah, so you don't
Can
take
we
it
keep
personal.
hamsters as pets? The Prophet ﷺ instructed us to kill 5 types of animals, whether we find them in the Hind.
This is not in the
Prophet,
Quran at all.
this is not in the Quran
Like,
at
this is
all.
not in the Quran at all. If you think that this is, if you're like, oh, I hate Islam, it's the Quran, they follow the Quran's evil. This is not in the Quran.
This
I
was
read the
literally
Quran
written by
for
the-
years and years and
Yeah,
years. This is nothing in the Quran.
I'm pretty sure the Hadith was literally written by the Jesuits in the Vatican.
No, it was.
Yeah, if not the devil himself.
area,
The devil.
which is out of the haram or inside the haram. And
But
he
wait,
also,
see how he says in Sayyid Haram, he puts these trigger words. No one
Yeah.
ever defines. They just assume you know. But you got to watch this video. What is haram? And then he just goes
Yeah,
on.
and it's just like the SJW thing. If they didn't use that flowery language, they
To
couldn't
confuse
make their
you.
points because their points.
That's
don't
like me
hold
saying
up.
no. It's like me saying, what's a word for
It's
like
too hard to talk like
Well,
that. We need a trend.
like think about like the word for in Chinese, dog is Jew, right?
yeah,
What if someone comes to another person? Curb your Jew.
yeah,
Curb your Jew. I miss a dog in Chinese.
yeah.
Okay, well I just say dog in English because you're speaking in English.
Yeah, well, that's what they do
Well,
with this
he's
whole
speaking
thing.
English the whole time. Why doesn't he say instead of haram? Because he can't define those words because it would show that he's contradicting himself.
Yeah,
ordered us in different hadith to kill mice because a mouse is a type of an animal that is evil by nature.
Who said this? Is it because the cats kill mice and they say you have to follow what the cats do? Should I use a litter box in my house? Maybe I don't
I
know.
tried that. It works. Actually.
Uh,
and it carries a lot of diseases, and the plague is one of them, among others. And it's known to be destructive and with evil intent. Even it may take a piece of thread
This got 10,000
and
views.
get it burnt
And
from
600
or set it
likes.
on fire from a candle or fire in the house, and take that thread and burn the whole house with it. So mice are
Wait, he just said that they could take a thread from a candle and burn the whole house?
If you were to believe everything this
and
person
we are
said, I
ordered
think
in
you would
Islam
be
to
an
kill them.
idiot.
a hamster
Oh, my chair
is
ripped.
very
I'm
similar
falling in the
to mice. It looks like mice, and as they say, it's
Doesn't look like a
about
mouse at all.
86 to 90 species of
He does.
mice
Yes.
that are found there. So a hamster
He
is
spent about, I don't know, 2 minutes thinking about complete lies and nonsense. And that's not every single video. It's about 3 minutes long, complete lies and nonsense. I think he spends about 24 hours a day lying and spewing nonsense.
And it talks about that in the beginning of the Quran. It says that there will be people who tell lies about God for their own gain.
I'm going to look up the Quranite.com. I'm going to look up everything scholar. And this guy is a on the books scholar. What the Quran says about scholars, but you really got to look in. Okay. See, look, you know what I mean?
Oh no, this is wait. First one.
Yeah.
We sent down the Torah wherein is guidance and light. The prophets who submitted judged thereby those who hold to Judaism, as did the rabbis and the religious scholars with what they were given charge of the writ of God, and were thereto witnesses. So fear not mankind, but fear me. And sell not my proofs at a cheap price.
Which they do.
Which he literally is. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's cheap considering you're
Here,
going to
this
go to
one right here,
hell
listen,
for
game.
all eternity.
Oh, rabbis and religious scholars. This man is, look at him. He is a rabbi and religious scholar, and he has status as so. Had but forbidden their speaking sin and their consumption of illicit gain. Evil is what they are working.
Yeah.
Evil is what they are working, saying that God has commanded us to kill 4 types of animals anywhere we see them. No. The Quran never, ever says that at all.
And they take their rabbis and their religious
Yes.
scholars as lords.
The people that take the rabbis and religious scholars as lords rather than God and the Messiah, son of Mary, and
Like they take Jesus as a god instead of God.
And they were not commanded save to serve one God, but there is no God save for He. Glory be to Him. Which they ascribe a partnership. People think that if they listen to this guy, they are completely forgiven of their
They
sins.
think Asim al-Hakim is
It's a God,
Elohim.
and they won't admit it out
Elohim.
loud. They'll be like, "He's not my God. He's
They
my
think he's
sheikh, and he is."
Hashem al-Hakim.
Yeah, Hashem Aleichem. Hold on, hold on.
Wait, another one from him. One more.
Let me see my comments really quick. Yeah. Okay. Another one.
Do the
Asuna to eat sweets. What
do the mortgage one.
is? Can we mortgage someone or property? Why? It's not that funny. How can we know if books of hadith nowadays are unchanged
Okay.
or no?
I mean,
You want the mortgage one?
no, just pick a random one.
Okay, my arm hurt.
Okay, we're just gonna close our eyes and pick one. Can I give someone a gift on his birthday without
from the
any-
US
you know,
has promised his
celebration?
nephew of a gift, and they told him to give it to him on his birthday. Is this permissible? The answer is no.
No.
Even if your intention is not to celebrate the birthday, giving him a gift on his birthday would constitute celebrating it.
Oh yeah, brand
So
Muslims
don't do
believe
that.
in
Give it to
celebrating.
him days earlier or days later, and fulfill your promise.
And again, this is not
Okay,
nowhere in the Quran. Like it's not even anything remotely resembling that.
Is a person kafir who boasts about the movies and songs he watched and heard? I think
Pakistan
What's kafir though?
Those
Like, what do they
who
mean by
boast-
kafir?
about
The one who
music
sprays
and
guidance while
movies,
playing
and that they've
university.
seen these movies and boast about songs, etc. Are they disbelievers? No, they're sinful. There's
Well, I
a
agree
big
with him on that.
problem here with the
But
Muslims.
no, sometimes I mean we
And I
talk
get
about
a
it
lot
too,
of
but it is a
Counseling sessions,
it is
a lot
a
of
means of
phone calls,
denial.
a lot
I mean,
of
we talk about South
questions
Park.
on
But
the website.
he's changed your words.
Ask
Yeah,
him.
but again, this got nothing to do with the Quran, and
Yeah.
it's like you kind of want to agree with him when he says something like that, but then like to agree with him is to go directly against the Quran.
Here.
You know?
I came late for Dhuhr congregation. Can I pray all student prayers together after Fard?
But from India, he says, if I came late for congregation and I joined the imam, can I pray the 4 rak'ah of dhuhr, that's prior to the fard, and the 2 rak'ah afterwards together? The answer is yes. But if you mean together by praying 6 rak'ahs with 1 salam at the end, no, this is not permissible. You have to pray 2, offer salam, 2, offer salam, and 2. Then
Is cryptocurrency halal?
Wait, hold up. And also, again, when he's saying you got to do this prayer, he's talking about a ritual that man has prescribed that is nowhere found in the
Yeah.
Quran. Then when he says offer salam, he's talking about actually kind of praying to
So the
Muhammad,
prophet, salam.
where they say like
yeah.
peace and blessings be upon Muhammad. They don't
Yeah.
ask God. They're not like
Muhammadin
You know.
salatu salam.
and like why would you pray for a
Salam
prophet
alaykum.
to have peace on them? Like obviously they do.
Just
They-
to have like a
they're-
continuous
you know,
loop in your head that
yeah.
never gets you anywhere. I
But
guess.
again, it's the same thing with social justice warriors. Is they have their own hadith that they follow that's always looping in their head.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I thought you were putting.
No, we're not. We've watched enough of this
Oh,
to get the point. I mean, we could find another one just to show that they're
Let's
all the
find
same.
Dr. Zakir Naik.
Let's do the ostrich egg one. Was really
Yeah.
cringy.
Yeah. Oh man, that one is bad. I gotta find. Yeah, that one is so cringy. Like it was bad before flat Earth and people knew the Earth was flat, but
Here's his claiming the Quran mentions the earth is spherical. No, it literally doesn't. I'm sorry, libtard agenda free
the Quran
Fred Islam.
literally says that there's a firmament and it's solid. And
It says
Earth
it's
is
stationary. The sun and the
The
moon.
sun and the moon swim in their orbits in the waters above.
And the ostrich egg line is them completely taking a line that isn't there and just putting it in there. And
Yeah.
how even doesn't even say how an ostrich lays an egg where it tills
No,
the
it just
soil.
says the Earth was spread
It
out.
says the
and
Earth
that
was spread out,
happens
and
to
they
be
added-
the word supposedly that they use for how an ostrich spreads out
They
its egg.
spread it
But
out.
what language even has a word for how an ostrich spreads out its leg?
Yeah, it
its
sounds
eggs?
ridiculous.
Like what language even has a word for that?
This
Like,
is
oh,
nowhere in the Quran. The point he's about to bring up
Yeah.
is literally nowhere in the Quran.
We thought that the earth on which we live, it is flat. It
Yeah.
was in 1577, Sir Francis Drake, when he sailed around the earth, he proved that the earth was spherical.
No, he didn't. He just sailed
Quran
around
mentions-
the Antarctic ring.
In Surah Luqman, chapter number
So they
31,
just have to
verse
fit their
number
agenda
29.
right now. They have
It
a
is
lot.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who merges the night into day
It actually
and
doesn't say that. It
merges
just
the
says
day into
God.
night.
Okay.
Alam tara anna Allah yuliju layla fi nahari wa yuliju nahara fi layli. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who merges the night into the day and merges the day into the night. Merging is a gradual and slow process. The night slowly and gradually merges into the day, and the day slowly and gradually merges into the night. If the earth was flat, there would have been a sudden change. It would have been a gradual
It's hard to
process
watch, like
of night
cringe.
merging into the day
Yeah.
and day merging into the night. Allah gives a similar message.
He's asking, how could the day turn into the night and night translate on the stationary? The Quran says that the sun and the moon move in their own heavenly orbit over a stationary plane.
Yeah.
That if he
And again,
Ugh.
it's one of those
Blood
things
boil.
where they say something like they say it in a way like, oh, this is so stupid to think that, but they don't give any reason why. And everyone in the crowd is just like, yeah, everyone just likes feeling right.
yeah,
So they're like,
it's
yeah,
oh, the whole
yeah.
crowd thinks it's right. I think it's right because that's just The whole crowd thinks it's right.
Yeah, they want to.
They want to belong. You
Chapter
know?
number 39, verse number 5. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who overlaps the night unto the day and overlaps the day unto the night. The Arabic word used here is kawara, which means to overlap or coil. So the Quran says it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who overlaps or coils the night unto the day and overlaps or coils the day unto the night.
It does not say coils.
Coils.
Um,
Because it looks like a yin yang. If you could see this part of the earth
Yeah.
from the top, it looks like a yin yang,
Yeah.
and the little back of the yin yang's coiling around
Yeah.
the light from the sun on the other
It's
side.
funny that all these people claim the Quran, yet the Quran says not to follow the crowds, not to follow the scholars, to think for yourself, and yet every single person here is being wantonly perfidious.
Yeah. Well, the Quran
Coiling,
says don't
The
follow
word
the majority.
kawara
The
is
majority
used
is
how
always
you
wrong.
coil a turban
We're
unto the
showing
night.
how Islam has nothing to do with the Quran.
So this overlapping
Oh yeah.
and coiling of the night unto the day and the day unto the night is only
Should I put it back
possible
around, didn't
if the shape of the earth was spherical. If it was flat, it was not possible.
Delicious.
And Allah further says,
And see, he just says it's not possible.
chapter
But
number
he,
79.
do- he
Quran
doesn't
doesn't.
explain how. But
Yeah.
this is my
Oh,
point.
it's not possible.
It's not possible.
The end. No, wrong.
Yeah. I can do that now. Are you smoking? Oh, impossible.
But I am smoking.
But it's impossible.
Oh, it's like arguing with a wall.
Yeah.
Verse number 30. We have made the earth as an expanse, and we have made the earth egg-shaped.
It doesn't actually say that. It just says we have made the earth as an expanse, and an expanse is flat. It
And
means
who,
a plane.
who was
The word is
allowed to
plane.
add an egg shape?
We have made the earth as a plane.
That is some
But
evil
listen
shit.
to
add
why
that
he says
shit.
egg
Wal
shape.
arda ba'da zalika daha. Wal arda ba'da zalika daha means, and then
It means the
we
earth
made
is flat.
the earth egg-shaped.
Well,
One of the
I'm not
meanings
fucking
of daha is an expanse, and the other meaning of the Arabic word daha, it is derived from the Arabic word duya, which means an egg. And we know today,
It's not.
Are these people laughing at him? Because I'd be like, you really think that, man? Like,
Well,
look,
this
he's
was
pointing,
before.
you
I think
believe
this video was before
bullshit.
the flat Earth broke.
But people, yeah. But I had my sneaky suspicions it was flat since the.
I always understood that the Quran was describing a flat Earth. I never understood how the Earth was flat. When I found out the Earth was flat and could understand it, I immediately in
You
my
know what's
head
so
went
funny?
to the Quran
You
and
could
was
look
like,
up-
"Yo, that's why it says the sky is going to peel back on the day of judgment, and the Earth and sun, the sun and moon orbit the
The
Earth."
funniest thing is that he's not the only scholar disproving flat Earth and pushing a heliocentric agenda. Every single scholar is. You could look at Asim Al-Hakim.
Let's hear
Is the
Asim
shape of
Al-Hakim's
the Earth.
brilliant explanation. Let's hear his.
You know, he talks about how it's
Because
obviously not
Dr.
flat, like all the
Zakir
other
is so
scholars.
misleading. He just straight up said it says egg shaped, and that line isn't even in there. He just like grasping at. things
Yeah,
that
the
don't
only
even-
egg around here is the eggshells I'm walking around speaking
Yeah.
to these people.
According to the Quran, is Earth spherical in shape or is it flat? In the Quran, Allah talks to the intellectual, to those who are illiterate, to those who live in cities, and to those who are Bedouins and nomads.
He talks to everyone.
I'm throwing
talks
smoke in your face.
to
Hold
what
on, Asim
an
Al-Hakim.
individual sees. So there are verses that tell and describes the earth to be flat as far as you can see. Be realistic. Stand at the edge of a desert or an ocean. What do you see? I
Flat.
see things are flat.
Okay. Now is it
And
gonna
this is
change?
how people describe things according to what they see. Regardless of what astronomy says.
Here he goes.
Wait,
or
wait.
NASA
He's
scientists.
saying that people saw it, but he's not ignoring the Quran is God's word.
Yeah.
This what they said in the Quran is it looks flat, and it is flat. Isn't someone who wrote a book and said it looked flat at the time?
Yeah.
It's God's word
Yeah. And
saying it's flat.
absorb. I know.
And wait how he blows the smoke
Yeah.
right in your eyes, the dust in your eyes
Okay.
before he pulls the rug out.
And just look at his hands on this. I know you know, but this man does a lot of hand magic. We've caught him shape-shifting
Hypnosis.
numerous times
Hypnosis.
on camera. So it's most likely he's not even a person.
Say,
He's possessed.
when we look at the sun coming up in the morning, what do we see? We see that the sun is rising. And this is what we say, sunrise. And when it sets, we say the sun sets. Astrologists or the people of
That's why they
astrology,
did
I beg your
Transformers
pardon.
Wait, I want to cut him
Earthrise.
off.
That's why they did Transformers Earthrise.
Oh, not sunrise, right? So, or the earth rose. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear
Okay,
his,
let's hear it,
his
let's hear it.
brilliant observation.
And scientists say the earth rotates around the sun and the sun does not rise and set.
So the Satanists say this, so therefore, as Muslims, we must follow this.
This is what we see. Therefore, this is what is said and mentioned to the layman. But also in the Quran, there are other evidences in the Sunnah. There are other evidences that tell us that it all are spherical.
Again,
Ooh,
again,
hell.
the Quran doesn't say that. And when he says Sunnah, he's talking about Sunnah means like the ways of Muhammad.
The
Because they
hadith.
idol worship
The
Muhammad.
hadith.
Yeah.
Wait, no, we're
I want to see this guy now. Let's see what the
He's
other.
evil, man. This
Yeah.
one's-
I mean, you could just look at these people.
No, don't show ads. Don't show ads. Close.
Because you can get copyright strike
You get taken down.
for showing an ad.
Yeah.
Really? It's just more ads. Double ads.
It's not
Skip
more
ad.
ad,
Skip
though.
ad.
You can't skip it.
I guess you can. Okay.
Welcome back. Now we answer questions we've received from you, our viewers. If you have a question, visit our website,
It's probably a man.
QuranSpeaks.com.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Shabir Ali, here's a question. Does the Quran indicate
People
that
are just
the earth
brainwashed.
is
They
flat?
don't have to be totally
No,
deceiving.
in fact, there are some passages which some Muslim scholars have
You're brainwashed
interpreted
women.
as meaning that the earth is flat. But those passages just simply has the purpose of indicating that God has made the earth livable for you. So it's a nice flat surface where you are. But if we think more globally, the Quran speaks of the earth as something that is actually round. For example, God says, "Yukawiru layla ala nahar," or "Yukawiru nahara ala layl." God coils the day around the night and the night around the day. And the whole act of coiling indicates that we're dealing with a spherical
Again, they all
object.
ignore
In
the
fact,
line in the Quran that says that the sun and the moon rotate around the stationary.
But let's keep it going. Keep
It's
it
almost like
It's
a
hard
man
to
wrapping
watch.
a turban around his head. That's what he does. He uses the same
Right, because the
verb.
sun and the moon are going
the,
that way
uh,
head,
around
that's
the
the
earth.
The idea that the earth is shaped like an egg is apparently indicated in the verse which says, "Well, arda ba'da dhalika dahaha." After that, God shaped the earth like an egg, which would be the best modern scientific explanation or translation to give to that verse. And there is also the
Now let's pull
Come
up
on,
that
look.
line. But this is the line that's in contention that keeps coming up,
You
right?
can't write in a sentence in there. It doesn't.
No, we just put in Earth. We're gonna find that line because if
Well, it's 386.
who made the Earth for you a couch?
And the sky structure and
And-
sent down. I would look
From
up
the
sun
Skywalker.
too, because they're talking about the sun and the moon moving on the earth too.
Right. But we're questioning
Yeah.
this line that keeps coming up that they're saying says he made it shaped like an egg.
Yeah.
And
Hold on, I already read
you're
those.
scrolling.
Well, you don't
read
want to
them,
say we
but-
sent down for you in this earth. In seven heavens. Okay, that's not the line we're looking for.
I'm pretty sure it was that first line.
No, it's we spread out this earth. There's many lines. It tells you 1,000 times the earth is flat.
Oh, here. Oh, wait. No, that's not. Is that it?
It's all the time. It's talking about like if you want to look up sun, I've already looked up this line on this with the sun and the moon moving.
But we're not looking for that line. We're looking
coiling
for
the coiling line.
no the line about he spread the earth
It's
out
together.
that they keep mentioning.
you look up the chapter on Google, you just look it up.
Okay. So Google it.
Look up ostrich egg Quran chapter because it's a fucking misinformation campaign right now online.
Surah.
Verse 30,
look,
Surah
so-
37:49.
It was 79:30.
37:49.
Surah
Hidden
79,
ostrich egg.
verse 30.
Oh, well, this one says 37:49.
But that's not the line they're talking about. It's 79 up verse 30. And the earth after that, he spread it out. Now, what they say here, we got a perfect explanation. Daha, to spread out, to flatten. Al-ard masataha. This is the only instance of this root. Claims are made for this verb which attempt to associate it with ostrich eggs, thereby to link it with the concept of roundness, which is found in popular assertions about the shape of the earth. What is true is that there exists in Arabic the word udiya, ostrich nest, which is based on the same root. However, this word derives from the fact that the female ostrich has no nest in the traditional sense, but rather spreads out and flattens a place on the ground where she lays her eggs. An ostrich nest comprises a flat circle edged about by a
With
rim.
like a
Now,
like
let's
a
watch
hip.
a video of an ostrich making a nest.
Here, go to YouTube.
Okay.
Just go here.
You know, it's ostrich.
It's hard to type.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Almost.
That's the first video.
It is. Ostrich nesting behavior. Not really.
Oh.
I could find a better one. I guess that.
Well, yeah, there you go.
This one here, nesting ostrich. Well, they're covering their eggs too. You don't need the music.
Oh, I
You need
kinda
to try with it's copyright. Come on.
Oh, it's copyrighted.
Yeah, we get it. I don't like watching stuff like this. Do you?
It's kind of funny. It's like taking a big ass hard shit. It must be a relief.
What's hurt?
But look, that's an ostrich nest. It's just
It's
the
just the
ground.
Spread out. It's
Yeah.
like a little.
And I mean, like, it's a stretch to even say that the word spread out has anything to do with that. They just have similar letters.
Like it's a root word that one comes from, so they
Yeah.
associate it.
But it's still kind of a stretch. And look right before, he raised the ceiling thereof and fashioned it, as in the firmament, and made dark its night and brought forth its morning. And the earth, after he raised the firmament, he spread out. That goes with Genesis 1, book 1.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a waters in the expanse. He separated
Separate the waters from above from
Yeah.
the waters below.
Yeah. So debunked. The Quran does not say the earth is flat.
Now go about in the Quran. With other things.
Oh, just here's a general
Islam.
one.
Wait, what are you looking up now?
Just
Why'd you exit YouTube?
it was accident. Just look up child marriage, because they always
In
say
the
like
Quran?
the Quran says you could
Well,
marry.
look that up in Quran. It's not in there.
It's not in there at all.
No,
So
it's not in there.
the prayer's not in there that they do.
Yeah.
What else? What else is there about Islam? Oh, the Hajj ritual.
Here, talk about. He translates it to pilgrimage.
Yeah, the
And
pilgrimage.
you shouldn't do the pilgrimage after this revealing. So Hajj, go a little bit with the Islam here. Go to YouTube again and see what Asim Al-Hakim says Hajj is, and then we'll read you what the Quran
Yeah.
says about it.
You know what I want to put on at the end of this is
Mhm.
the Audio Boy Testimony of Satan book where he talks about from.
I want to hear
Satan's
this.
perspective.
Should I believe in COVID vaccine? The stick.
Okay.
Is that a reason not to go to Hajj? Does he have a general short description of Umrah? Is that Hajj? What they say Hajj is? Doesn't he have a general one? I'll just look up what is Hajj for the what's the Islamic definition? This.
Yeah, where they idol worship the stone at Mecca. And then, you know, for those who don't know already, Mecca wasn't even where Muhammad's from. It wasn't on any map till about 200 years ago. And before that, there exists Petra, which
At least once in
is
their
most likely where he's actually from.
life. That is to say, if they're financially and every Muslim is obligated to complete a pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in their life. That is to
Okay.
say, if they're
Bam. First point, right?
Wait. You missed it.
I wanted to say the one.
You could go to the chapter too.
There's one that says that you no longer have to do the pilgrimage.
You scroll faster than when I skim it. You even skim them. Go up to the one I think it's in.
What? You go.
You gotta go in context.
No, it's in one of the end chapters. It says, and after this year, do not partake on the pilgrimage.
Well, we know we can. Can we
Maybe if you
recite this?
click number 2, it will say. See note. That's what we need.
After. So approach not the inviolable place of worship after this year. After
Yeah.
this, their year.
So they're saying that they got to make a pilgrimage to what they call Al Masjid Al Haram, the inviolable place of worship, which is the Kaaba in Mecca by their definition. However, that
in reality,
that's-
it was a totally
it was a
different
totally different place
situation.
in reality.
They were going to go to the idol worshippers in Petra
And even so,
and
it
warn
says
them. Oh, you heed warning. Those who ascribe a partnership are unclean, so approach not the inviolable place of worship after this year. And if you fear poverty, then will God enrich you out of his bounty if he wills. God is knowing and wise. So just don't do it anymore, as we say.
Yeah.
You got to stop.
and
kinda.
he also mentions that they ascribe a partnership, which is idol worship.
'Cause-
And-
Yeah,
and
I think people were doing this, and then God told them how to do it, and
Yeah.
it said, after this, you got to stop.
let's see if we can find a video of Hajj. I mean, if
That
this is
video
not idol
showed
worship,
it.
if this is not idol worship,
Here, look at it.
yeah, if that is not idol worship,
Look up.
then what is idol worship?
Look up Saeed Mirza video on it, just to show some good info. He has a really good one on how Hajj is idol worship,
Oh yeah, he does.
paganism, and Islam. So we'll just play this and watch it. I mean, it's 26 minutes. You guys could check out the whole video.
Assalamu alaikum YouTube, this is Said Mirza. In today's video, I will be discussing the topic of shirk according to the Quran. Now, as you might know, the word shirk is usually translated as ascribing a partnership with God or making partners with God or setting up other deities besides God. And coming from a Muslim background, It was drilled in my head from a very early age that the Hindus are mushrikeens and the Christians are mushrikeens because they set up partners with God. And what was left out was that the Muslims themselves are mushrikeen. And I came to that conclusion after researching the Quran and reflecting on the many verses in the Quran that talk about shirk. So in this video, God willing, I will be looking into the Quran, giving you Quranic evidence for this stand that the Muslims are ascribing partnership to God. And we will see many instances in the Quran where it's not just a matter of overtly saying that God has partners, but as far as your actions, what do you trust? That is the determining factor in whether you are a mushrik or not. Now, as you might know, this idea of a mushrik, it's actually a pagan concept, because pagans, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, pagans are those who worship the creation. I came across a very interesting YouTube video. I will put a link on the drop down below by a gentleman named Peter Jones, who's a biblical scholar. And he was looking into the question of the paganization of Western civilization that is ongoing. Well, actually, we're pretty much at the end of it now, and how the Hindu concept of multiple deities and worshipping self has permeated across the Western civilization in general and America in particular. Because what paganism is at a more fundamental level is
they had
the
Simpsons where the
merging
America
of the
was
creator
Hindu
and the
symbol
creation
the Jewish symbol
into
and that was
one.
the new flag of
And
America.
this gentleman was using the term oneism to define what that means. Because as we know in the Quran, God speaks that we created everything in pairs. And so this delineation, this differentiation between two things, which is basically what a pair is, sun and moon, and male and female, light and dark, good and evil. If we collapse all these things into just one simple one paste, then we've arrived at paganism. And this is why you see the push in America specifically for unisex bathrooms and men taking over the roles of women and women taking over the roles of men.
A lot of that.
Because at the end of the
A
day,
lot of
what
that
paganism
agenda is to
would
contradict
have us
the
do
Quran.
is
That's what the
worship
picture of the Baphomet symbol
trees,
That was in
worship
Star
rocks,
Moon. Did you know
worship
that?
ourselves,
Baphomet's head.
because
Yeah.
the creator and creation are the same thing,
They want to mix the East
according to them.
and slowly destroy
And
humanity with that.
really, the bulwark that we have is God's scripture against this sort of foolish thinking, because God is clear that He is the one who is to be worshipped, and He is the creator. He created everything. Everything has a beginning except Him. And to worship God means to look to Him for help and look to Him for guidance and approach Him in humility and awe and respect. So, God willing, in this talk, you will see how this idea of mushrik, of paganism, is refuted in the Quran, and not only refuted, we will also go over the defining characteristics of what the mushrikeens do, because as I said in my other talks, we're not interested in what people are saying, whether they be Muslims or Christians or Hindus or whatever. What we're interested in is what people are doing, because you shall know the tree by its fruits. And so we're interested in the fruits. And whether the Muslims claim that they're monotheist or not, and they worship one God or not, their actions betray their real gods. And this is not just something that I've been saying. I mean, there's other people who are saying the same exact thing, that Muslims have abandoned the Quran, God's scripture, and they have taken gods besides God. Let's just take the issue of veneration of dead ancestors, which is a classic pagan characteristic. Muslims venerate Muhammad and his companions, and the Shia sect venerates Ali. Again, this is not only just one aspect of what paganism that has permeated Islam. We also have the glaring
Which really makes me think the
pagan ritual, which is
Pope,
the Hajj,
or whatever.
and that is
From
circling the stone cube
Well, they admit
7
that.
times
They-
and bowing and prostrating in front of
I'm
it.
pretty sure there's
Now,
a-
Muslims will claim that it's not
video
them
where-
worshipping
Satan,
the
really.
stone.
Satan made
and,
something like that. Everything.
They're adamant about that, because unfortunately you're dealing with people whose hearts are diseased. They cannot see. But those given knowledge and those given the scripture do understand that this is idol worship, this is pagan. And so the Christians are bowing down in front of a cross, wooden cross, and you have the Hindus bowing down in front of their various deities such as Hanuman, etc. So these are all pagan concepts. These are all
The
religions
Jews
that
kissed
are
the mezuzah. Growing up Jewish,
Oh yeah.
we have a mezuzah on the
On the
door, and we
door.
don't enter our house save that the devils will attack us. That we kiss the mezuzah,
Yeah.
and in the mezuzah was a mini Torah.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
the little things like that, even.
Yeah. And I mean, again,
And the Wailing Wall, you're not forgiven unless you go to the Wailing
well,
Wall.
it's the same. It's
and
the
go like
same
that.
for the right and the left. Like the right bows down to Donald Trump and thinks he's their liberator, and the left bows down to their gender pronouns and their racism and their
Yeah.
this and that. They all have these idols in the way of the truth, and
Yeah, and
utter
it's almost
music
it's so
denial.
detrimental both sides, because it's really like, both sides have very bad points too. I've heard people on
Yeah.
the side with Trump saying we got to ban Islam. I'm down with banning the religion of Islam
Islam.
and getting rid of Hadith, but if that means getting rid of the Quran, which they do mean that,
Yeah.
then that's horrible.
Well, that's why we're making this video to show.
Well, that's why-
Islam
that's
has
what sparked part of
absolutely
it.
Nothing to do with the Quran.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could ban Islam and still have the Quran.
yeah,
Theoretically, it would actually be perfect if they did that.
be like all hell breaks
have
loose,
been polluted with
the
paganism.
maniac.
Yeah,
And
they might be trying
We're
to
gonna
do
go
that,
over
though.
some
I think
verses
they
in the
did
Quran
that
that
in
talk
France,
about-
actually. I think this year they did that in France. They banned certain mosques, which again is fine with me.
But I mean, if you're
but
gonna do that,
they're
ban
doing
every
it-
religion.
I know they're doing it.
ban Satanism. You know what I mean?
They're trying to radicalize the Muslims,
Yeah.
which is not hard to do.
I want to really quick, just look at a picture. What was it? I know Comet Pizza had the star and moon and a Baphomet with the star and moon. Wait, was it Baphomet? I just want to see it really quick. Picture. Wants to load my location because I looked this up. I know wasn't there a star and moon on it? Isn't that like the whole point? There's some kind of crescent moon. You know what I'm saying though? Like I've seen it.
The sigil.
There's a medical symbol in the stomach.
Oh, I was thinking about the medical symbol. On a side note, it's not snakes around a spine.
Oh, here it
or
is. Look,
it's
this is the real
parasites.
depiction. It's the moon and
It's
look,
parasites. The
look.
medical symbol.
the moon, and then like the old painting is the moon
Yeah.
and the star, and there's sometimes one right there I've seen.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with like the unification of the moon and the star right there. And it's kind of like unifying like evil and the using.
And look, this is what I'm saying. This is a parasite, not a snake.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a snake, because snakes contain
it
parasites.
looks like a parasite too. I mean, snakes. It's like the snake in Adam and Eve. What was a parasite?
Yeah.
the mushriks. So let's begin with the first one here. Chapter 4, verse 48. God does not forgive that a partner be made with him, and he forgives other than that whom he wills. And whoso makes a partner with God, he has invented a mighty sin. So this is the only unforgivable sin. Setting up partners with God. So we should be treating this very seriously. Okay, now we have chapter 30, verses 30 through 32. So set upright thy face to the faith, natural monotheism, its natural state of God upon which he originated mankind. No changing the creation of God. That is the lasting faith, but most mankind know not. turning to him and fear him and set upright the duty, and be not of the makers of partners, of those who divided their faith and became sects, every party with what is with
That's a
them
big one,
rejoicing.
That one
Yeah.
actually woke me up in when I was Muslim. And
Yeah.
I'd read that line. I said, well, we're not supposed to divide into groups, sects,
Yeah.
and different religions in general. Like, we're not
Yeah, I could
supposed
never
to be
answer that question when I was into brand Islam. Is are you a Sunni or a Shia? Well, doesn't the Quran say don't break into sects and gloat about like who's got the
or who's forgiven. Just because I am a
Yeah.
Shia, I'm forgiven.
yeah
That's idol worship. That's
Yeah.
a lie that contradicts the Quran that, many do. I just had some.
Oh, it's really good.
Let's just see if anyone's. Oh, it's the daytime is nice.
So the first thing is,
we have
what is
some-
natural
we have Mystic
monotheism,
Creek.
which is the word Hanif that I'm
Oh,
translating. It is, we have the example of Abraham in the Quran. He turned away from everything created and turned his attention towards the Creator, because this is the natural state of man upon which he was originated. That's the blueprint. And, a lot of people read this verse and they think, oh, there's no change in creation of God. That means that tattoos are haram and all this stuff. But what's actually being discussed here is that if you do take others besides God as partners and you revere them and you worship them, you will not ever gain satisfaction. You will not
It's funny.
gain
They're
inner
so,
peace.
like
You will
you
not.
said, they're so caught up in like, is this haram? Is this haram? Can I do this? Is this haram? Them asking their scholars and taking these other books, finding the truth besides God and the Quran, and going to God in their heart. That's the most haram.
Yeah, actually reminds me of a quote from the Diamond Sutra. Let me see if I can pull that up. Oh man, it's hard to type like this.
Exit the shortcut thing.
What?
You have this popped up.
Oh.
Told you it was hard when I typed
Yeah.
before.
Well, the Diamond Sutra has something about how people become too concerned with saying this is this and that is that. We'll look it up at a later date.
Wait, I saw it. No, maybe this. We'll just quickly. No, this is. I don't know. We'll look it up later.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Never be successful, because deep down inside, instinctually, you have been built on a pattern of serving God alone, of worshiping God alone, and that is natural monotheism. So what are we supposed to be doing when we worship this God? We should be turning to him and fearing him and setting upright the duty. And this duty is, I give credit to Brother Garens for this translation. You can read about the duty in his exhaustive work, The Quran, A Complete Revelation. And it says then, be not of the makers of partners, so the mushrikeen. And it tells you who these people are, of those who divided their faith and became sects, every party with what is with them rejoicing. So there you have it. These are the mushrikeen. Now the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews have all split off from the true faith, and they have made their own religions.
and rejoice in that.
They have their own literature, their own scriptures, which they claim are divinely, revealed.
Yeah.
And besides the Quran, the Muslims take the Hadith as sort of a cornerstone of their religion. And so these people are the mushrikeen who have split off from the true faith. Now we have chapter 2, verses 135 to 137. And say they be Jews or Christians to be guided. Say thou, rather, the religion of Abraham, natural monotheism, and he was not of the makers of partners. Say you, we believe in God, and in what was sent down to us, and what was sent down to Abraham, and Ismail, and Isaac, and Jacob, and the tribes, and what was given to Moses, and Jesus and what was given to the prophets from their Lord. We differentiate not between any of them, and we are to him in surrender. So if they believe similar to what you believed in, they are guided. And if they turn away, they are only in schism. So God will suffice you against them, and he is hearing, knowing. Again, it's the same theme, that those who are claiming that you need to be a Jew or a Christian, and or we can include in this the Muslims, if their claim is that you need to convert to this religion to be guided, to attain salvation, then the answer is that we believe in God and what was sent down to the prophets, and we do not differentiate between any of them, and we are surrendering to God alone.
Because religions are just
And this
partners
idea of
with God.
differentiation,
Religions
I'm
are
sure
cool.
you are
Look at
aware
this.
that
I love this picture. I actually loved it for a while.
The golden cow one.
Yeah. Well. Well, I've seen it.
There, down more.
It's not
Down.
it.
Down.
Chuck
Keep going
meat.
down.
Chuck rib. Idolatry.
It's a meme.
I know. It is.
Yeah, maybe put meme in the search.
Oh, I don't want to put meme in the search. Hold on. This one.
There.
And it says career, family, money, culture, possessions, power, fame, success, comfort, pleasure, religion, entertainment, and yourself. It's all like, you know.
Yeah, well, religions are to rely on the jinn,
Yeah.
as you pointed out. So let's.
Well, a little bit more.
every
It's
Yeah.
good. It's
religion
good.
has
It's getting
a
us
certain
while you're bored of it.
special messenger,
Yeah.
which they venerate.
Let's talk about the 5 pillars of Islam, right? They say that. They
So
say,
look up Sam Garrett's 5 pillows.
yeah, well, we'll think for ourselves on this one.
Mhm.
They say that Islam consists of 5 pillars. And again, Islam has nothing to do with the Quran. So maybe it does consist of 5 pillars, but these 5 pillars are
There's the
found
pillars. It says
nowhere in the
include
Quran.
the practices of the 5 pillars. You could click it and
Good.
open it up specifically. The hadith
So
of
the
Gabriel.
declaration of faith, right?
Mhm.
The prayer, the zakat, the fasting, and the pilgrimage.
Mhm.
Out of these, we already proved the pilgrimage is not supposed to happen.
Fasting's wrong.
We've
because it
talked
should be
about
every
the
morning.
prayer
Yeah.
that is wrong.
Duty.
The fasting, okay, it's supposed to be every new moon, and they say it's supposed to be
On
only
Ramadan.
on the month of Ramadan, which is on the lunar calendar and changes every year,
Mhm.
right? Then zakat, we'll get back to this one. The declaration of faith, I want to bring this up, right? Their declaration of faith is
The Shahada.
there is no God but God, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. But to even mention Muhammad is the messenger of God is going against the Quran, because the Quran says do not make any distinctions between the messengers of God.
Mhm.
So their declaration of faith is literally against the Quran.
Right. They say you can't become a Muslim unless you say La ilaha illallah ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah.
Well, I guess you can't. You know, it's got nothing to do with the Quran anyway.
Reader.
So
No,
a
reader.
reader.
Yeah.
And now let's look up this word zakat, which Sam Garrett has translated
Purity.
as purity. And I can explain how he got this meaning. It has to do with John, but let's keep going. So this word gets translated as
Put
zakat.
2 next to it. The note.
Yeah. This word gets translated in Arabic as a tax on the believers. That if you're part of their religion, you have to pay this 2% tax or something like this. So, claimed by the traditionalists as the imperative to pay an obligatory alms tax, all details pursuant to which are, by his own admission, not in the Quran, but which are presented by him as one of the principal tenets of the religion he promotes, leaving aside the fact that the concept of an obligatory alms tax is nonsensical, since taxes are taken under compulsion, whereas alms are given out freely. Good point. One is expected to accept the traditionalist claim that al-zakat means a set tax on the believers. So listen, this is also like in Christianity, like you were saying, tithing was just something you do out of good. It was like a mitzvah in Judaism.
I always thought zakat was similar to tithing. Like when I first heard it, I thought it was like a like kind of charity or giving, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I hear it still, and I think
I can
it
explain
could
why.
mean, I know it thinks it's sexual purity because that prophet was known for being virginic, but I also in my head I hear it as being a giving person, like not being stingy, and it's not.
Well,
it's
it could be
not-
purity and not just sexual.
Yeah, like sexual. Yeah.
Yeah. So, moreover, the recipient of the Quran is asked about what one should give. No amount is fixed, and the clear implication is that giving is voluntary. Certainly, the Quran exhorts believers to give charity, called sadaqah, in the text, and to give of everything that God has provided. But such giving is voluntary. It is true that the Quran treats the amount to be given in the case of spoils of war. It also states that there is a due to be given on crops, but it neither fixes any amount nor employs al-zakat in this context. Again, al-zakat is the word here we're translating as purity. If one never read any of the non-Quranic literature that has attached itself to the Quran subsequent to its revelation, it is impossible that one would arrive at the notion of a fixed percentage of annual payment on existing wealth for al-zakat, or that one could reach the precise value that the traditionalist ascribes to it. Article 1 shows the imperative atu al-zakat is a general term that comprises a number of forms of obligation, none of which coincides with the traditionalist assertions. The present collocation is found in the work to render the purity and zakat as purity throughout. All instances in the notes reference this. So we will discuss one of the big giveaways, which why it is purity, and that would be with John, because it says that God gave John purity, John, Jesus's cousin, right? So how could
Even read any line, it doesn't make sense how it could ever mean.
But let's go with
a
the
10%
big
tax
guns.
of wealth.
Let's go with the this is really important though. How do you give John at birth or whatever
Check out purity
zakat
6.
if it's tax?
The note number 6.
Hold on.
That was a good line about it. You just missed about sexual immorality and practicing your.
Okay, but I wanted to find the one with John, or maybe.
Does it say it, John?
Oh, it might just say him, right? Like, and we.
Like, wait. Can I just? Here's one that you could just read it in context.
Okay.
And oh, you who heed warning, follow not the footsteps of Satan, and whoso follows the footsteps of Satan, he enjoins sexual immorality and perversity. And were it not for the bounty of God upon you and his mercy, not one of you would have been pure ever, but God increases in purity whom he wills, and God is hearing and knowing. How, in context, would that ever mean?
Yeah, how could it be God increases in
taxation.
whom he wills?
Yeah, and being like, you would never be pure if he never gave a tax on you. I mean,
Yeah.
You can just pull out any line and prove it.
Oh, here's a good one. He is it that raised among the unschooled a messenger from among them, reciting to them his proofs and increasing them in purity. So they literally read this as increasing them in taxes.
Yeah.
And again, it's probably the same. They probably use the same trick in Christianity with tithing.
Talk about Muslims also say about halal and food.
Oh, yeah. You want to look it up? Food. So we
Or
just
at
we
meat.
destroyed
Look
the
up
5
meat.
pillars. The 5 pillars are destroyed.
Meat, or
Uh,
like animal, because it
I think it
says
says food, right?
it's like don't. Yeah.
Does it say eating? Remember God when eating?
It's like when killing, or like yeah, when oh, it's all things of eating. Okay. Slaughter or don't eat. It tells you don't sacrifice. If you look up sacrifice, eat your sacrifice. Don't. It should be eat, not eating. Like don't eat the flesh of swine. It tells you what not to eat. We're created and then we're eaten. But Gog and Magog. Eat the good things He provided for you. And it is like eat not. And it tells you what not to eat, and none of it is what they say.
Yeah, well, just to go off the top of our heads, it says, when you eat, remember God.
Yeah.
In other words, be thankful to God that you're getting food,
Right.
you know? And they have turned that into this whole process of making halal meat, which is really like a marketing gimmick to sell you meat.
Yes. Let's read some of our comments.
Oh, yeah.
Let's read this one. Scholars are not guided. They worship one another by redirecting people to one another for answers and rulings. They also try to make doctrine into a business.
And this one. All the sheikhs sound the same.
And then also the scholars and sheikhs worship pseudoscience. That is so true. I have noticed that. And modern medicine, yes. And they lie to fit it with their doctrine. Exactly. They lie about the Quran to please their herd mentality and pseudoscience. Leave that
Yes.
one up there for a while because that's good. That's a good one.
Well, they
Kind
could. The viewers at home, they
Okay.
can pause it, you know. So I wanted to pull this up if I could find it. From a different perspective, there's this Christian guy that's an author that says he got possessed one night by the
Oh,
devil.
boy.
Right? He says he got possessed by the devil one night and wrote this book that's called The Testimony of Satan. And the testimony of Satan is basically Satan speaking through him, admitting how he tricks every religious group, everyone really, not just the religions.
You
But
could search too.
he had a really
No, not there, not
interesting.
there. Sorry.
He had a really interesting point about Islam, in which basically he just says it's laughable. He says they worship.
A testimony of Satan, right?
Yeah, that's not good. That's a good book though.
Prince of Satan, Prince of this world.
Yeah, don't play that right now.
This one.
Yes.
Well, just listen to parts.
I kind of believe this book is true.
Yeah.
The Audio Boy Project, a decentralized anti-authoritarian based initiative focused on creating a library of audiobooks for truth seekers and free speech advocates. All content on this channel is free to download, share, and repost. Your support is much appreciated. Truth audiobooks for the people.
This is Audio Boy 279 on Odyssey.
The Testimony of Satan, written by Jeremy Brown, narrated by Dave Johnson. Chapter 1. Satan actually has a role to perform on earth. He provides us with first-hand knowledge of how much authority can be granted to an angel in heaven. God uses him to correct the folly of humankind, specifically when we are off track, pushing us beyond the comfort and light of God. Discomfort is not always the indication of sin. Rather, sin is living outside the light of God. Sin is the result of crimes against God, others, and ourselves. One dark, quiet night, I was shaken by a tumultuous tremble in the universe that rocked me from fear to a feeling beyond human comprehension. I was neither possessed nor completely in control of my capacity to move or think. I was spoken to in words by a force that could only be deemed as complete evil, and thus Satan. It addressed itself as such and demanded I write. Who was I to be demanded as such? What or who was this? As a devout Christian, I knew I had not been forsaken, but I was afraid, and yet I was well protected. It was as if God, aware of all things, would allow me to be the hand to bring about an explanation of the evil we call Satan and to draw upon the reason for his purpose on earth and his twisted, reluctant, and indirect means to serve the will of God. Even though Satan tries to serve himself, he fails terribly. He spoke. I held the highest position that could be held in heaven, second only to the Creator himself. I was the worship leader of heaven. I was Lucifer, the light bearer, with the ability to make a joyful noise. In the ears of God, this was an absolute perfection that lacked nothing. I did not require an instrument to assist me, for I had pipes embedded in my physical body. Not only did I have that, but I was a glorious sight to behold, for I had the most precious stones beset in me. I know that I later came to kill, steal, and destroy. I know that I am a liar and the father of all lies. I know that the Creator made all things that exist with the sole purpose of the good, yet I try to destroy them. I attempt to reconfigure all things for evil to the best of my ability. I know that I was demoted from the highest position in heaven to the lowliest position among the damned upon earth. You see, there is little reason to explain to me who I am. I know exactly who I am and what my eternal purpose is. The question is for you to know who you are and what your purpose is. Do you know the power and ability you possess is the essence of the Most High, the great I Am? You see, ever since I attempted to abuse my authority, or rather assert my disrespect for authority, I have been attempting to entrust myself as a power greater than God who made me, to place myself above God. I am eternally lost. There is not a second chance for me as there is for his beloved creation, you. When God sent his seed down to earth through the Virgin and allowed himself within this man to be crucified, he did this to satisfy and fulfill law and prophecy. He did that for you, humankind, not for the eternally damned, fallen angels who follow me. You should take full advantage of this act of selflessness that I will never understand. Made for such pitiful creatures full of more folly than I, or even my kind, ever were in design. God and Jesus died for your sins. And in that he once and for all secured your eternity. His blood upon this earth was the sacrifice.
So,
You skip around too.
this is the devil talking to this Christian dude. Of course, he says Jesus was born
Yeah, that's what Christian.
like son of God because he's the devil. You know, he's still tricking us.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see if we can find where he talks about Islam.
It talks about it, right?
It
There was a grumbling that was inaudible. Slowly, it began to form words that spoke to my mind. It was as if the dead spoke without breathing, animated by the dark force. The entity continued his testimony. There is a relationship between fire and sin. The driving force of sin is limitless when it goes unchallenged by one's sense of grace. If you do not drive sin from you, it will drive you from life. This eternal fire burns through emotions later interpreted by the mind and carried out through actions of the body. The only way for it to be quelled is through the ethereal fire of God. It is this fire that conquers eternal fire, re-establishing balance in one who would otherwise be torn apart by the constant battle of good and evil within them. Reconciliation of the eternal fire by the ethereal fire is the point of conquering sin whenever it arises in your kind. Emotions are fueled by an ethereal fire within all of you. But when irrational actions and thoughts that develop from the use of these emotions are rooted in eternal fire is synonymous with sin. The content of the fires that burn in you determines the course or directions of your thoughts and actions. The ethereal fire can burn bright with the strength of God, but if one delves in the eternal fire based on negative shadows that work against life and laboring for the betterment of self and others, the emotions that result become the essence and later fruition of sin. Sin is an investment in the adversity of growth and determination. In essence, if the power of good is a blessing, evil lies and curses. Sin is of eternal fire. Salvation is of ethereal fire. Ethereal fire is the fire that is rooted in the baptism of fire that Christ spoke of. The ethereal fire is that of what he referred to as the Holy Spirit. The best way to starve the eternal fire is to focus on the ethereal fire, which denies
And just to tie this into our other videos, the Morgellons are parasites that drain you of your ethereal fire, and they're fed by your sinful eternal fire. They feed off that negative energy.
eternal fire to burn. By starving the eternal fire of sin of its source and replacing it with the essence of warmth and light found in the ethereal fires of the Spirit, you will conquer sin. The greatest difference between these two fires is that fire that is out of control consumes and destroys, but the fire that is controlled warms, comforts, and protects. Fire in itself is neither good nor evil, but how it is used and the intentions of those who wield it determine whether the fire helps or harms others, as well as those who make use of its power. If emotions you have are rooted in supporting others, and you cherish peace where all can be as one yet remain at points of great self-expression and sharing, then your emotional state is peaceful and the fire burns slowly, carefully. But when the fire burns destructively, corroding your sense of connection to others, burning away your compassion and replacing it with coarse absolutes with no flexibility, you begin to lose a sense of discernment and sense of being fair or just. This fire does not burn slow or bright, but as a dark, raging flame, consuming not only the fuel that is within you, but your life force as well, the very essence that is you. It takes its toll on beauty and physical health. It becomes a burden on the mind as well as the heart.
And just to re-explain this, this is literally talking about how the parasites drain your etheric energy, your good energy, and replace it with this evil energy. And that causes you to lose your beauty and to have health issues and all that stuff. And I can attest to that in my own life, that I've literally had the parasites tying knots in my neck, making my nose out of place, making one eye bigger than the other, making one eyebrow raised and the other one lowered. And also in the Quran, when it says God will make firmer your foot, right? I believe it's literally talking about when the parasites come out of your foot. And in the Bible, when it talks about...
Well, also it means like where you stand in life.
Yeah, but you know, my feet are way firmer now that the parasites came out. My feet are hard.
And they say stiff neck.
Yeah, stiff neck.
And like when your neck, when your neck's...
And in the Bible, it says, he will bruise thy heel. The devils will bruise thy heel, and you will bruise their head. Because you bruise their head when you pick them out. and they bruise your heel because they target your heel as, basically one of the weak points of the body.
Yeah, I also hear that too. Is like they hurt like a small part of you, and then you can destroy whoever they are as a whole. You know.
This fire yields to emotions and psychological states of wrath and despair, and is a path to destruction because emotions, like the fire, are meant to be controlled, not to control you.
And that's how they control the Muslims. The one sect, the Sunnis, have Abu Bakr as their second in command from Muhammad, and they love Abu Bakr and they love Aisha. The Shia have Ali and they hate Aisha. They love Ali and they hate Aisha and they hate Abu Bakr. And through these emotions, the devil controls them and they wax proud because they become concerned with these little pieces of what they have that they think is truth and think they're better than other people and this and that. And it's the same thing with social justice warriors, is they have these emotions that they should be this and they should be that, and the devil plays off their emotions.
Yeah.
When you allow your emotions to control you, whether good or bad, you become a tool of that has no thought of its own and no essence of its own. You become a tool of the very power you are given to wield. This is a point of weakness where I grow strong, because I was originally a fire and thus have power over emotions. And through your emotions, I can control you.
Yeah, you can.
The reason why I and all of my manifestations have become associated with eternal fire versus ethereal fire is that eternal fire in itself is not eternal at all. Yet its ability to consume and the point of never being satiated with destruction make it the perfect concept to represent what sin is to you. Only God is eternal. But for lack of a better choice of words to communicate to your somewhat pedestrian minds, eternal is the key word to represent an almost never-ending matter of sin, like fire consuming everything in its path and seeking to destroy more. Think of wrath. All it does is attack without reason or direction. Once it is unleashed and left to its own nature, wrath will even attack those who have attempted to comprehend its roots, to be compassionate toward it, to assist it or support it. When I say it refers to whomever's heart such wrath inhabits. This is not the wrath of God. The wrath of God is far beyond what even I fully understand. All there is to understand is that his wrath is deserved by all who fall under it. It is punishment and means of discipline that is inescapable. Yet, patience is far more powerful than wrath and overcomes it, like the showers of the sky calm the fires of forests, or the calm of the ocean at times seems to shield the shores from great storms. It is best that you store up the power of patience like a peaceful winter in which the snow-like layers of peace and balance compact and are ready to be shed as creeks and rivers to enliven and moisten the earth of your mind and heart. For if you are rooted into lives where all is brittle, dry, and cluttered with brush full of disorder and dissonance, when the fires of wrath rise in you, it will have little to stop it or calm wrath's motion, because there will be little exuberance, abundance, or fertility in you to stop the movement of such degradation. Many of you fail to see that it is life that chases away death. So patience, which makes life possible, allowing flowers to rise and bloom from stones cast down by watersheds, undoes the destruction of mudslides and the displacement of earth that is equal to the power exuded by giving into your wrath. Take lust, for instance. Lust craves attention without real thought or discretion. For instance, King Solomon had over 700 wives and 300 concubines. Although Solomon was knowledgeable and the love God had for him was in many ways equal to his father, Solomon's wisdom did not protect him from his own lust, consuming a grave amount of the glory God placed upon him and the luminescence he was noted for by his people and others afar.
It's open.
With this in mind, the
What
great
is it?
king was full of despair.
The
Because
camera.
in essence, he served me, although all he...
The tablet.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
It's an unboxing video now.
Unboxing. tablet to make animations.
I said it came with a mic, though.
It's got a built-in mic. We got a mic somewhere. We just plug it to it. 4K camera.
Stereo
Was given was by the glory of God.
Has it.
Solomon, in the end, was quite perceptive and discovered that lust ends with a sense of meaninglessness and vanity, hollow and pointless, neither elevating or expanding one's life, one's heart or mind, but condensing the human experiences of pleasure and happiness into moments where men are no more in control of their baser natures than beasts are in control of their instincts. Lust leads to precarious situations in which your own bodies can turn against you through diseases that disfigure, cause pain,
Careful with it.
and
Every
kill.
time I get a camera, I
Or lust leads to thousands upon millions of children born of illegitimate unions. These children
Okay,
become
don't touch it.
pawns between the conflicts fed by wrath and despair between men and women. Lust is my path through your loins to separate you from deeper unions with God as you seek to unite the God in you with the God in others. God between two people in matrimony is a blessing. Lust rips this embrace apart and places chaos not only between those who commit it, but those who are victims of infidelity. Lust is my manifestation that makes one take pride in the unsavory and celebrate self-degradation. It is true you are meant to be fruitful and multiply. It is true that sex by its physical nature is pleasurable. But pleasure can lead to a point of losing control. To bring them back together. At his job, he may seek a unilateral move or ask to be demoted only he's outside the light of God with no means of escaping the emptiness of his accursed perdition and eternal punishment. He continued. Feel they can do no more. They fall under their own ego and weight. It gives without concern of attention or reward. It is not boastful.
I'm trying to find a line about Islam. Well, basically, I mean, you guys can check out this book yourself. It's The Testimony of Satan by Jeremy Brown. You can listen to the audiobook at Audiobook.
You will be put out as one among the sick.
Yeah.
And all of your goodness will.
Basically, the devil says that, the Muslims are idol worshippers, and it basically it's laughable, even from his perspective. Let's see, on BitChute, they got Catholics admitting that there's a Catholic priest or something that admitted that they made the Hadith.
You saw that?
I think so.
I didn't see it on there.
I never watched the video, but maybe it was a Jesuit. How the Vatican created Islam.
Wait, what?
I told you BitChute became like YouTube now.
You have to log in to see it?
No, it said copyright claim. They can't show it.
What?
Ex-Jesuit priest Alberto Rivera reveals how the Vatican created Islam.
I can't wait to use this. Maybe you have to log in. The BitChute has copyright. Created Islam by Alberto Rivera. LinkedIn? No.
Wow, he died from food poisoning.
What age?
They poisoned him, and he had
Yeah,
several
poisoning the food.
several unsuccessful attempts on his life after saying this. I learned in secret briefing in the Vatican when I was a Jesuit priest under oath and induction, a Jesuit cardinal named Augustine Bia showed us how desperately the Roman Catholics wanted Jerusalem at the end of the 3rd century. Or you could read that how they wanted to silence the Quran. Because of its religious history and strategic location. So a scheme had been developed to make Jerusalem a Roman Catholic city. The poor Arabs fell victim to one of the cleverest plans ever devised by power of darkness, which is the Hadith, which constitutes the religion of Islam. The religion of Islam is made solely
Those
on the
buildings were
Hadith.
not built for
Yeah, those were already there.
Salah.
Yeah. They created a counterfeit Christian religion to destroy the work of God, which is what they did with the Hadith. Is they created a counterfeit religion to destroy the work of God in the Quran. And you know what? We'll leave it at that today, guys. You've been a great audience. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Keep the message going. Keep the vibe strong. And, I truly believe possibly 10 years from now, Gog and Magog will be invading, and we're all going to have a second chance to rebuild. So educate yourselves now while you still can, because who's to say if the internet will be around or if we'll even have time to read books when we're trying to rebuild society.
Yeah.
Oh, bonjour, Billy from Quebec.
Bonjour.
Comment ça va? Ça va? Ça va, ça va? Bezo, bezo. I end this now.
Enjoy,
Thank
watch
you
the
all.
video
We'll be
of
back
yours
later
today.
today. We just got a new camera, so we're going to set that up. FPV Angel. Oh,
Oh,
shit.
hey, we'll keep it going a little bit longer then. Well, what's other points that we haven't touched upon? How ça va bien?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're from New York, but there's no sound on our stream.
why? Was there sound the whole time? Did everyone just fuck with us? No. There was sound. There's no sound now. Hold on.
He said it could be on his. We're from.
Let us know if you guys could hear us.
We're from New York, but my mom's from Canada. I lived in Montreal for a little bit. So does she, actually.
We're gonna stay on for a bit.
Okay. Well, let's get to another thing.
Hold on. I got it. Let me think. Were we just talking about the pillars? Did we talk about each pillar?
Yeah, each pillar.
There is sound. Okay.
Off the top of my head,
I mean,
we
we
didn't really
talked
get into
about-
the fast. I mean, let's get into Ramadan. Right?
Yes.
Oh, reader. Okay, so Muslims celebrate Ramadan, which they say is in the Quran. However, the word Ramadan actually means a time when the ground is hot. And it just says the Quran was revealed during a time when the ground was hot.
Does he say Ramadan in the?
No, but let's look up
He
fast.
does.
Let's look up what it actually says about fasting, because that will have it. So hold the fast we have given you, and remember what is
Hold fast
therein.
what we have given you. Here, I'll jump in.
Okay.
Oh, heed warning, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed before you, that you might be in prudent fear. Okay, for days numbered, and for who among you is sick or on a journey, the number of other days. For those who are able to do it as a redemption, feeding a needy person. And whoso does good voluntary is best for him, that you fast is better for you. And a moon of a scorching heat is the correct definition of what the word Arabic meaning of Ramadan is. So Ramadan, the word Ramadan means burning. In Arabic, vehemently hot or vehemently heated off the ground under a hot sun. It denotes vehemence of an action, of the falling of the sun upon the stones and sand, burning of intense heat of summer. The point being made surely is that severity of heat in any month is not a reason to omit to a fast. The only occurrence of this word, indeed of this root in text, makes it vulnerable to highly specialized claims by traditionalists in support of their religion. Of course, the extraneous literature defines this word incorrectly and goes on to have a chaotic backfire.
Yeah. So
And here's how I've actually realized this myself, to realize how fasting on every new moon, intermittent fasting of each new moon is what is God ordained to us and is what most healthy to us. And clear signs of a guidance and the division. So who amongst you witnesses the new moon? Let him fast in it. And whoso of you is sick or on a journey, then a number of days God desires for you ease, and he desires not for you hardship, but that you complete the number and that you magnify God for guiding you, and you might be grateful. So, I mean, again, just to break down how traditionalist religious Muslims totally ignore these plain proofs in the Quran for the sake of their own agenda, which goes against the proofs of God. Because in this line right here, 2185, the Quran, God tells you specifically every time you witness the new moon, you may fast in it. And when the Muslims, they don't practice every new moon fasting, they actually practice a holiday which they call the Ramadan holiday, and they fast all month. Not at all what's said in the Quran.
Yes, and to jump on that,
They're pillows, the pillows of Islam.
Yes, but there's the Ayurvedic fasting, which is you eat when the moon is a new moon.
Ooh, should I show them the Ayurvedic fasting?
Yeah, show them Ayurvedic fasting, because that's really what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Do you have a lighter? I'm going crazy.
I don't.
What the heck?
I have one. I laid it. It was in my egg.
So if you laid this lighter and I use the word laid, they'd be like,
The earth is shaped like a lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's read the comments for a second.
Okay.
Montreal. Yeah, we were in Montreal for a bit. Holy books define the Creator's glory and how religion is a man-made divide trying to hijack the truth. This is extremely true. And every religion is to rely on the jinn, to rely on the demons, the archons, and to rely on the lies of the Satan, and to deter you from the true meaning of God's word. And that's the test. And we could get mad about it and we could get frustrated, but at the end of the day, that's what God willed. So, you know?
Yeah.
Because it frustrates me sometimes, but, you know, it's the way of the test.
Unclick that, though, so they could see the whole screen.
Hmm.
Yeah, are you doing screen share?
I thought it was.
There you go.
All right, Ayurvedic moon fasting. Well, so basically, Ayurvedic moon fasting, I read about it. And from the site, it's a fasting that's dependent on the cycle of the moon. The new moon, where there is no moon in the sky, you eat nothing. Then when the moon wanes towards the full moon,
Yeah.
you eat
You
a little
eat
bit
more.
more each day. So it's a little bit, you eat that much of the moon. And then when it's full, you eat a full whole day. And
Yeah.
then when it's waxing moon, it's Shahadrayana.
Let's pull this up.
It's called Shahadrayana. So yeah, so you have a new moon over here. You don't eat, then you eat just as much as like that moon, you know, at the little bit at the end of the night. Then you eat a little bit earlier, you eat a little more during the day. And then at the full moon, you eat a full day.
You eat with
you
the
go on and
phases of the moon, because when it's a full moon, you use more energy.
Mhm.
I've just
The
noticed
full
in
moon
my
fills
own
me
life-
like with energy so much.
Yeah, like even bartenders will say when it's a full moon, they have a crazy night at the bar.
Yeah.
And essentially, the Ayurvedic fasting is eating with the moon, which is what the Quran is more or less
Mhm.
insinuating. It's actually just saying when you see the new moon, fast in it.
Yep.
And, you know, logically, if you're going to fast the next couple of days, you're not going to eat as much afterwards. And then by the time it's a full moon, you'll be eating a lot. And then
Mhm.
you'll be getting ready for the fast and eating less.
Yes.
But instead of saying this, which it says in the Quran, the Muslims of both, you know, Sunni and Shia will tell you that it's a month called Ramadan, which changes every year.
I
That
just
they
said.
fast the month.
Yeah.
And then, you know, girls of age where they're getting the menses don't even fast the whole month. They're just fasting 3 weeks out of it. And that's all fasting is to them for the most part, is
Yeah.
that 1 month.
Yeah.
But that's not
The
really,
whole year.
That's not
And
really
what
even
benefit?
healthy.
Yeah,
That's
what
actually
benefit?
too much fasting.
Well, it's too little too, because it
It's
should be
too little and
all. It's too much at once, and it's too little throughout the whole year.
Yes.
Because you need your body to reset each month
each month.
with the moon, because the moon here, it says it right here that the moon is responsible for energy in food, which the moon is.
Yeah.
It gives minerals, and it gives minerals to
it charges
crystals and stuff like that. And with fasting is very good for you, if only you knew, because these people aren't fasting for their health too.
Yeah.
They're not fasting for their health when they're doing Ramadan. They're fasting because the scholars said so, because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if only they knew how good it is to intermittent fast and to reset their system and live off what's in their body.
But like Autodidactic said, there's that squid that they starve this octopus or squid or jellyfish or something. I think it's a jellyfish. They starve it once a month or something, and it's 47 years old, and it's only supposed to live to be 3 years old.
I wonder if you could find
In
this on
captivity.
Google. Oh, fish, like fish, like.
Octopus. It was or jellyfish. I mean jellyfish.
Is it though?
Yeah, jellyfish.
The immortal jellyfish Turdoposius daharini. I don't know if that's it. Might be it, but
But so
I'm still on the fence if I'm on my menses, can I fast? Because it
no,
doesn't say.
it's a double fast.
Yeah, it gets a little hard, and, you know.
Yeah, but
Maybe it's extra work.
yeah. Or maybe there's a right way to do it. We just haven't figured it out yet. But Flatter Day Saints, what up?
Yo, what's
what
up? What's up, guys?
Yeah, so
Wait, watch Operation Rainbow Warrior. Okay.
and the 444,000, like there's supposed to be 444,000 people left after Gog and Magog invade, I think.
Yeah.
Or 144,000. It's
Yeah.
1,200 people
After the next
from
reset.
each of the 12 tribes of
Yeah.
Israel, because God's going to give the children of Israel one more chance to set up the earth before the earth is ultimately destroyed 1,000 years after when Satan is released.
Right.
So, I mean, it could be. I mean,
I believe it. I mean, I've researched many scripture talking about the invasion of Gog and Magog, and the people that do survive it. I would, I'm excited. I want to be here to witness it, and I think it would be in our lifetime, and I hope to be amongst those who just are going.
Well, I definitely think let's
the
put up,
ideas of truth, not repopulate physically, but
Yeah.
repopulating like a manifestation of God's word throughout existence and the last hurrah. What are you doing?
Vibes of Cosmos moon map, or there's no pictures. I gotta go to this
Yeah.
YouTube channel just to
I'm
pull
gonna
up the
look at
moon
the
map
moon.
for a second, right?
Look up map next to it.
Uh,
Is it Vibes like Vibes Cartel?
I typed it like that the first time. That would be awesome. But so
Can you zoom in? Nice.
yeah, let's see.
Oh, it looks pretty good. Bandcamp.
Oh wait, what the fuck? I don't
Go
know
back,
how to
bro.
use a modern computer.
All right, so it's gonna bring me to a song, but here, let me go.
So okay.
Am I casting right now? Oh, I gotta.
Oh,
skip.
screen share.
Sorry, I wasn't screen sharing. I thought it was.
Okay, so here's the Horn of Africa. Oh, well, here's the Horn of Africa. Here's Africa, West Africa.
That's us over
Here's
here,
Saudi Arabia. Here's Europe. Here's China. Here's Australia. That's Lemuria, sunk underneath the ocean. Here's North America.
Brazil, the South
and-
America,
Oh yeah, North America is
Argentina.
behind there.
right
So
there. Yeah.
you can envision that.
The
there's
farthest
this-
reaches of the north.
Okay, so
Ooh, okay.
there's this Antarctic ring here.
Yeah.
Right, which is currently melting, and then somewhere in it is somewhere here is
Well-
the wall of Alexander the Great,
Yeah.
between two mountains, 12 French cubits long.
Mhm.
And essentially it's made of
Steel
and iron and copper, and it's got to have some kind of electromagnetic properties, because we're talking about 12 French cubits worth. It's like miles or something of
Mhm.
iron and stuff.
The giants built it, so
Yeah.
it was pretty
So,
big. Yes.
We have this Antarctic ring kind of protecting us from any, at the very least, any boat invasions from these people over here.
Gog and Magog, which were
Yeah.
vanquished beyond the farthest reaches of the north, which going here
Yeah.
up north would be right like there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not north for here, but it depends.
It is
When it says furthest reaches of the north,
from where it was revealed.
that's
in
from a
this-
book that was revealed. Oh, sorry. Here.
Can you stop touching
So
the computer,
yeah, it's the
guys?
furthest reaches from the north. It's from where it was.
Yeah, it was. It was revealed like right over here.
And we have no idea right here where magnetic north is. It could be here. It could be.
This is Hyperborea.
Well, let's say north is the center.
Yeah.
So it would,
This is
would
the
be
North
like right
Atlantic
here.
Ocean. So the more
Yeah.
north you go would be north at Atlas, then the northern Terra Vista.
Yeah. And somewhere here is Alexander's Wall. But anyways, when the Antarctic melts, they're going to come in from all four corners. Let's see what the Quran has to say about that.
I think it's Yajuj and Majuj. He keeps it pronounced.
Even in the new version?
Yeah.
It's with 2 U's.
It has some crazy like things. Like it has the like lines you have to copy. I've done this before. You have to copy the grammatical stuff. Huh.
Because it has 2 U's.
So they spelled it wrong there.
No, there's no right way to spell it.
Okay,
I'll do it. It's YA apostrophe A.
You broke the system.
Uh-oh.
Look up the chapter really quick. Here.
It's Surah Al-Kahf.
Surah's 18 and 21. So hold on.
Okay.
Wait to break the website. The cave, you're right. What line? It's very long
It's at the end.
at the end of. Are you sure it's at the end of the surah?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not that far.
Down more.
You sure?
Yeah.
Do car name. Oh. Okay, this is where it starts, and then reached. Yep, there. Yajuj and Majuj.
So copy that. Copy the way he wrote it. Because I'm not talking about this surah. I was actually talking about the other one where it mentions they're going to invade from all four corners.
Which is the other later chapter.
Yeah.
Let's open it.
Oh, from every elevation they will hasten forth.
When Yajuj and Majuj have been loosed, they will come from every elevation, hasten forth.
Now pull up the Vibes of Cosmos map.
Okay.
You can see if the Antarctic ring melted, they could easily launch assault by boat on every single place. Now,
So
not
I
to
think
mention,
there's an underground tunnel system.
Yeah,
They
and then
come
not
up
to
with
mention tunnels.
Yeah.
and they could have flying saucers. I assume the flying
Little
saucers
later.
come from Hyperborea, but if the flying saucers aren't from Hyperborea, I mean, well,
Hairless.
yeah, they're like 8-year-old cannibals. The flying saucers must be from Hyperborea, but there's nothing stopping those 8-year-olds from coming on rafts all the way over here. Once
I
the
really want to
Antarctic
find the
ring
line
melts.
about the minor invasion in the Bible and the major invasion too. But hold on.
But just want to point
Check
out
the comments really quick.
that's not possible on a heliocentric Earth model.
It's not possible in a heliocentric Earth model. Oh, hold on. All right, bye guys. Sorry.
Oh, they hate the moon map.
Well, that's a revelation I had in my own like brain. So I mean, whatever map you think, it doesn't really matter.
Well, let's see his correct world map.
Yeah, I'll use the correct map. I didn't know.
Let's see his map.
Where is it?
He links to it right there.
Where's the link?
You got to AMP research. You got to copy
The
that.
fake international. I have to type it in. I can't copy here. Blue wrench me. How do I do that?
Here, I got it.
You don't know how to give him a blue wrench, Alex.
Who?
Do you know how to make them admins?
No.
I don't do it here. I have to do it on YouTube.
Oh.
Here, what? We'll look up. Well, it doesn't matter the map. Get over it.
Wait, hold on. AMG research. It does matter. It does matter.
Where do you look on their channel? It says to look.
APM research the fake international date lines.
I made this clip to show you how a compass behaves under normal conditions. By normal conditions, I mean without any electromagnetic interference, which can and does happen, such as at the infamous Bermuda Triangle, which is why GPS was created, which is a grid positioning system designed to aid safe navigation. Now take a look at this flight to where these people assumed they were flying towards eastern Russia from Alaska. Upon arrival, they were treated to very hostile and suspicious conditions and were even threatened with suggestions like, "You will go missing." Look at their compass on the aircraft's dashboard while it was sat on the runway. Do you see a problem here? As you can see, they did not land in eastern Russia, but they definitely landed somewhere west of Alaska. The map and grid you see on screen are the map and model we work with. We have come to find the international date lines are fake, hiding where the luminaries come from and go to, and anything else beyond. They are a mental block, the edge of the globe. The Arctic and Antarctic restrictions are not the only locations hiding more secrets. No shipping or aircraft cross the international date lines. The data is being flipped to appear to be. They are really using routes in the north over Greenland to cross the map, and the same must be happening in the south. GPS your flight and compare it to the flipped data recordings found on Flight Radar 24. World War II was all about taking control of the perimeters, and it has never stopped. In 1947, a US fleet sailed to Antarctica in search of Nazi war criminals. A year later, the US built the world's first nuclear power station. Admiral Byrd mentioned land south of the South Pole. He was not speaking of the globe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I agree with that for sure. But yeah, I didn't mean to use an incorrect map. Trying to work with what I have. But the depth of what I was trying to say in general.
Yeah.
When I kind of went on a tangent, I'm talking about like, how Islam doesn't have to do with the Quran.
So he's saying if they flew northwest, they thought they would be there, but they weren't. Well, anyways, it's like Plato said, like we could argue all day over the shape of the earth, but it's not really getting us anywhere. But the point is that there's more lands on the flat earth model, whichever one.
There is more lands that are hiding anyway.
They're hiding.
And I wanted to also say that, we kind of got to all the points we wanted to, if we could think of any. I mean, there's myriad
I have a bunch more
reasons Islam contradicts the Quran.
People say that there's child marriage in Islam, which there is, but
it's not in the Quran.
It's not in the Quran. There's nothing I could really search to prove that because it's just not in there.
Well, certain countries have different ages that you go and you abide by these laws. Like, God is at the top of.
But I've heard a lot of people say
chains of office.
I could never get into the Quran because Muhammad was a pedophile.
Yeah, I could never get into the Quran.
I would make the argument that he wasn't a pedophile. Yeah. And that is just lies probably made by pedophiles to justify pedophilia.
Well, the reason that Apocrypha, the reason Apocrypha is really taken out of the Bible is because a lot of it shows you that Jesus was a prophet, Jesus was not ineffable, and Jesus was not God.
Yeah. And
a lot of the reasons they take this out of the Bible, the Vatican felt it wasn't worth being in there, is because of these reasons. So, the same reasons that Brandon Islam has the Hadith, all religions have this extraneous literature that contradicts the true word of God and stuff like that. What's another pillow of Islam that they
That's
rest their
it.
head upon.
That's it. We broke down the 5 pillars. 'Cause
And
look,
them circumnavigating the rock is very what do you Wikipedia? You should bump Sangaren's page really quick and play one of his videos so people know to go to
yeah.
him.
Well, the Declaration of Faith, we proved that is idol worship.
Uh-huh.
The prayer we proved is
also a form of like a
idol
aerobics
worship.
class.
The
idol
almsgiving is not really what they say it is.
Fasting
It's
is totally
made up,
dismissed-
totally
mis-
misinterpreted, and Hajj.
Hajj was discontinued.
And so, according to the Quran, none of these things are in there.
Oh, and a lot of Muslims are globetards.
Yes.
I was shocked. I'm just shocked at how many scholars. I mean, of course, there's scholars. They're corrupt,
Yeah.
Or just
Let's
pushing,
hear. Let's
medical
hear
agenda.
what.
Oh, the one of the worst. He's like. We're not sharing still. We gotta share.
Oh, we're not. Oh, oops.
He goes on and on. What do you want? You want to look up a specific thing he's talking about?
Just see what his latest video is.
Him skydiving. How about that?
Are you serious?
His main video.
This to me never makes any sense because
Him paragliding.
okay, oh, it's not him power shooting
Well, it's
again.
paragliding.
It's also a thing like, yo, if the wind was to blow a certain way, flip your shit over and you die. Like, you risked your life. You claim to be religious, but you risk your life for a cheap thrill.
Well, he says that you're not, as a Muslim, you're not allowed to go into a bar and talk to people, even if you're not drinking. But jumping out of a plane with a fucking parachute is totally fine.
That brings me to another thing. What does the Quran say about
Intoxicants.
Yeah,
yes,
alcohol and intoxicants.
I don't know what he puts. Is it wine? Maybe it was wine.
I think he says intoxicant. No.
Wine. I thought he said it was a honey wine. He brings it.
No, he doesn't say that in his translation.
Wine, really? Yeah, he says wine, bro. So I knew it's wine. And asked you about wine and games of chance, right?
Yeah.
Thou in both is a great sin and benefits for men, but their sin is greater than their benefit. And ask thee what they should spend, say thou the surplus. Does God make plain for you the proofs, what you might reflect, but also says to avoid them.
So time out. So if you could spend the surplus according to the Quran, we know it's great sin. We know there's a little bit of benefit in it.
You could spend it like excess.
You could do it a little bit. It's not not
but
the
to
end
avoid
of the
it,
world.
it's better. It's not necessarily. Like,
obviously, you shouldn't.
Here
you
it
shouldn't
says
drink,
to avoid
but-
it. Oh, heed warning. Wine and games of chance and altars and divining arrows are an abomination of the work of the Satan. To avoid it, you might be successful.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much makes
But
sense.
it's not such a neurotic. God is not like this neurotic micromanager that says you had a sip of wine at dinner once with a group of family and said, "Oh, that's it. I'm going to hell forever."
Mufti Mink literally says it's better to go skydiving than to go have one drink at a bar.
I
literally.
hate skydiving, so I would not want to do that.
And I mean, you could go have a drink and, tell someone about the Quran and maybe do a little bad deed, but do a really
And why would
big
you want to
good
fall
deed.
through that field of genies that's
Jumping
with
off
the
a plane
chemtrail?
with Mufti Mink.
Like,
Funny
I don't know.
skydiving. Look at him jumping off planes all the damn time. I don't want to say, but
there's just like libtard general. Let me check the
wait,
messages
hold
again.
on. I love Mufti Mink. That's the gay one.
Yeah, I love Mufti. Oh, he's bald on this one? I don't know.
Wait, Mufti Mink got divorced from his cousin.
Hold on a second, please.
Here, this is the one where he says
I think,
that.
oh, it's 40 minutes.
No,
I'm not going to sit
this
through
I
that
know. I
shit.
know where it is.
Just show that.
We'll see.
Let me get a TV controller.
jump forwards.
But I feel, news channels obviously would carry
You gotta jump
the bad
forward.
that's being done because the good is so much. Who are killing? They're too coward to face the king. So I had to sit with him and explain to Pakistan what the Muslim youngsters perceive, or how they look at it, is that here are Muslims being killed by non-Muslims and nobody's doing anything about it.
Integrated. Now, how big a threat do you think they will pose?
Wait, maybe someone broke down.
Well, it all depends on how serious each individual is or was when they were, in the zone of combat, so to speak. If they were really, I've seen some clips of people burning.
It's somewhere.
Choose whatever they have chosen, whatever they want to choose, and they have the right to change that over time. So, what I believe is, as time passes, people need to.
Mufti Mank. Ever shooting?
You made this one really funny.
No.
I don't want to. Can we move on though? Like,
Well, take my word for it. He literally says that you're better to jump out of a plane with a backpack to save you than go have one drink at a bar.
yeah.
So that kind of destroys the whole drinking thing, because anyways, in the Quran, it says like, yeah, you could do it a little bit. Obviously, it's not good for you. If you want to be successful, avoid it. And it's true. I mean, alcohol eats at your muscles. It changes your estrogen, and all drugs are almost always in the tryptophan family, which means that they give, but they take, and they take more than they give.
And just like, we shouldn't get so mad because people like look at a moon map or look at something like that. It's just find information within what you can. I mean, everything has disinformation in it at some point.
Well, yeah, the flat Earth community is becoming like Brand Islam, where they have their
Sex
scholars
and
and their
yeah.
sheikhs, and they get offended, just like social justice warriors now. So whatever. So what else is there about Islam? They say child bride. Here's the child bride thing. It comes from the Hadith, not the Quran. And the Hadith are extraneous literature.
Before anyone talked about the moon map, I, as younger, like 6 years ago, was looking at the moon and thinking that it was a reflection of our Earth. Then all of a sudden, everyone started thinking that. And they're acting like I'm ridiculous for following a fake person talking about a moon map. I really was the one who really like pushed that one forward, and it's in scriptures, so Yeah,
It's in the
I'm not a
Hindu
disinformation
scriptures.
agent. So I'm thinking, what am I supposed to never even look at it because you say it's disinformation?
I still believe the moon map. I don't find his map very convincing because numerous reasons. Here's our video 2 years ago, 408 views.
First video on YouTube talking about
No,
it.
it wasn't the first. Fives of Cosmos was already doing it,
2
but
years
we were
ago?
the only other person that we could find that did it.
Oh.
Because I remember when we
I never
made this,
saw
we
him.
looked it up, but he hadn't figured out exactly where the stuff was on the moon yet.
You just had the same idea.
Looks like the moon, huh?
This was
Well,
before the
actually,
whole thing. Then this
it's
is
a
my
picture
video.
of the map
3 years
of the
ago.
flat Earth with a fisheye effect applied not once but twice.
We were wrong about the states and
And
stuff.
the
'cause we
colors
just
were
found out,
first,
like-
inverted.
I think he made the same
Yes,
mistake
the
too.
flat
'cause
Earth map
What gives it away is you can
being
see the
reflected
horn
to
of
us
Africa, and when you see
on the
that,
hologram, we
you
know
can
as
piece
the
together
moon
where everything
as
else
it
is.
orbits in the waters above.
But the
I'm
point.
not following no
Yeah.
disinformation campaign. I literally thought of that before anyone ever told me to.
Could God be the principle of abrasion?
What's that mean?
Well,
First the bag. It's more important than you.
abrasion. Let's look that up.
Like abrasiveness?
Process of scraping or something.
I think of God as a literal being, not as a concept.
Yeah. Well, I mean, God definitely put a test in this realm, and He tests people. But I mean, the principle, as in like the principal
principality?
of a school. It could be.
The principal, yeah, he's like the one that washes away, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to go now, if that's okay. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes.
Well, all the best names belong to God, but so he could be that if it's good. But yeah, I mean, you guys get the point. Basically, the Quran has nothing to do with Islam. I never thought I'd be one of those people that hates Islam, but I actually do, and I hate it because it's telling lies about God and it's claiming exclusive rights to the Quran while at the same time it has nothing at all to do with the Quran. So
yeah,
you know, when Trump said he wanted to ban Muslims from coming into the country, that's a little extreme. But if he wants to
well, I want to ban Satanists.
yeah, I
in
mean,
the country.
I'd like to ban everyone.
I like to ban things, but
ban some
it's
people, I mean.
freedom of religion, I guess. You have
Yeah.
the right to make a mistake, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's happening is like people think that Islam is the Quran, but Islam really has nothing to do with the Quran. And what more could be said than that?
Yeah, it's pretty thorough. Who's that?
That's the mathematician, right? We're gonna look that up, Santo Bonacci. All right, thank you guys. You've been great. Love you all. Peace. We'll be back on later. We got a new camera.